Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of NCompass Live. I am your host, Krista Burns, here at the Nebraska Library Commission. NCompass Live is the Commission's weekly online event where we cover anything that may be of interest in the library world to librarians, library staff, anybody across the state. We do a mixture of things: presentations, interviews, book reviews, sometimes little mini training sessions, whatever we can come up with that we think might be of interest to librarians. We do these sessions live every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time, and we do record all of our sessions too. So if you want to, here on our website you can see we have an archived NCompass Live Sessions link. You can go here and watch any of our recordings of our sessions we've got. We're going on about 3 years worth of recordings now. So feel free to go here and watch any of our previously recorded sessions. We have commission staff, Nebraska Library Commission staff, that do presentations for us, do sessions, but we also have guest speakers as we have today. Today we have Jake on the line. Hi, Jake.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Jake Rundle is from Hastings Public Library, a little west of Nebraska, of Lincoln, where I am, and he is remotely with us. He's going to talk to us today about marketing to those elusive teens and tweens that you want to get into your libraries. Are you ready to go, Jake?
I am ready.
Okay, I am going to hand over control to you, and you should be able to share your screen.
Alrighty, can you see?
Yes, I see your Facebook.
Wonderful.
I see you're promoting your art. Yes, I saw that email this morning about your face.
Shameless plug.
Huh?
Shameless plug to start today.
Go ahead.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Jake. My name is Jake Rundle. I am a collections librarian in Hastings, Nebraska. But I like teen services, and I am the chair of the Young Adult Roundtable. As you can see here, this is our Facebook presence. We only have 8 people right now, so I need every one of you who's watching to please go and like us because we're awesome. And we'll get back to how this works with marketing to teens and tweens also. But it doesn't hurt to shamelessly plug.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk a bit about today some techniques. I did a presentation 2 years ago at Nebraska Library Association's conference about marketing to teens and tweens with Kathy McMahon and Gordon Wynett, and we packed a room in Grand Island, and it was awesome and fantastic. If you saw that, we're going to kind of go over some of that stuff. If you didn't, because you're from a different state, that blows my mind that I'm stateswide. That's super exciting, so welcome to y'all. So we're just going to jump right in. So to start, teens are strange. I will be the first to admit that because I used to be one. And so really the best way to communicate with them is to do anything and everything you can. So I'm going to show you some things. I have some literature that I'm just that's not that one. This one. There's some attractive displays, cheap and easy programming. I'm going to email all of those to the commission so they can put those up with the NCompass Live recording, so that if you want to read about the stuff that I was reading when I put into this, you can be smart too. But we'll just start then. My favorite way to market to the teens and tweens in Hastings is this lady right here. This is Faye Friesen. She is the high school librarian at Hastings High School. She's a smart lady, but she is your #1 advocate for marketing to teens that don't come to your library, because she sees all of them, or at least a majority of them, because they all go to public school and they have to be there 8 to 4 every day. It's a legal thing. But this is your #1 gateway to getting in contact with your teens and tweens. She is a member of YART, shameless plug again, but she also likes to invite me to her library to have direct contact with students when I would otherwise wouldn't, and I'm just relying on that foot traffic in the door. So if you haven't talked with your school librarian, you probably should get on that right away. Goodness gracious. Where to go next? Sorry. So when I go to Faye's classroom, when I go to the library, I do one of two things. We do a book talk, which is, you bring a stack of books and you talk to students and you kind of hold that conversation. And that's a nice way to do some marketing stuff because you're talking with them, you're showcasing what your library collection has, and you're also kind of showing off yourself and your cool factor. Because as much as we hate to admit it, sometimes teens won't give you the time of day if you're, kind of lame. So it's nice to kind of get a foot in the door and have someone who can verify that this is a cool person. And Faye does that for me. And students love Faye, and Faye loves me. So transitive property of geometry, everyone loves me. And what I do when I go to Faye's library is we either do book talks, which is, just 5 books, and we do it quick, or we do a 40-minute long class session, and I bring a PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to show you this one. This is one I did back in early September, and it was Books Don't Suck. It's always nice to start with self-deprecating humor because that's big in the teen circle, and that's the kind of person I am. But the important thing with these PowerPoint presentations is that they can't just be pictures because that's lame. So, for instance, with Matched, you have title, author, picture of the book, make sure it's a cool picture, and then what I always do is link to the book trailer. A lot of publishing companies are putting out book trailers for their books now, so you have a ready-made, built-in book trailer you can do. There are means to get YouTube videos off of YouTube and into a downloadable format if you do not have access to YouTube. I'm thinking school teachers and others with strange internets. But it pops up, the 40-second, minute-and-a-half book trailer plays. Teens are like, oh man, is that a movie? That's so cool. And you're like, no, not a movie. It's awesome. So we'll watch this one.
Society, officials decide who I love, where I work, when I die. When I turned 17, the moment had come for my matching banquet, where the society pairs you with your most optimal partner. I was sure they had found the perfect match in my best friend Jake Rundle. What's going on?
So I played this book trailer for teens, and they asked us, do you have this book? Where can I find it? And of course, because I had the librarian right there, you can just say, well, I'm certain Faye has copies. And Faye was the type of librarian to have 4 copies of that, and she still can't keep them on her shelf. But we'll just show you. So I cover a lot of bases. I do some girl books. I do some boy books. I do some sci-fi books, some real-life books, some fantasy. And then the nice part about it is you can make them on the fly. So what I did was in an empty period, I just made the trailer and I talked about the book. And as you can see, I've yet to go back and fill in my blanks with pictures and text and all that pretty stuff. But you can make them as long or as short as you want them to be. And it's just a great tool because most teens are visual people now. If they can't see it on a screen, it's not worth doing. So that is lesson the first. So goodbye PowerPoint. The other thing that I'm not super familiar with, but this was made as part of the presentation at NLA, but it's called Prezi. And I kind of love it. I really wish I had did it more. But it's you take one picture, and then what you do is you just embed stuff all over the place. So this was our presentation. Oh, come on, please. Shrink. Okay, well, Prezi hates me. But what you can do is, there we go. you can jump ahead, and so it shrinks into there, and you can embed all manner of stuff in it. In this presentation, we have eventually past. It's too far to click through, but there's book covers and book trailers embedded in this thing. So again, another screen that you can have your students look at to interact with you, and it kind of shows off your cool factor, your tech savvy, your suave. It's really about presentation, if anything. I don't know if you can tell, but you got to be lively. You can't talk at teens. These are kind of basic tenets of working with teens. Talk to them, not at them. Try not to sound old. Try not to be too cool. I don't know if there's I don't know what it was from, but it was a book on tape. There we go. And some mom was trying to be too cool, and it just sounded awkward and terrible. I can't even think what it was. Bad example. Bad speaker on my part. So that's Prezi. It's fantastic.
Definitely something you think the kids would like, being more animated of a presentation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Krista, if you find me just rambling off topic, feel free to just be like, and what's the next point, Jake?
No, that's okay. I'll let you. We'll see. You're doing all right.
All right.
It's your show.
So what Faye has done for anyone, if you go to hastingspublicschools.org and you pick the high school, and then you go down to the Media Center, there's Media Center. It's going to open up a drop-down menu, and she's got making book trailers, and she's got podcasting and iMovie. Those are mostly resources she made kind of for the teachers there, but also she showed them off just in Lincoln this couple months ago at NLA. And so she's got everything you need to know for making a book trailer. You've got your copyright-free photos, your free music, your free videos, your editing stuff. I love Animoto. The free version isn't as spectacular as the one you pay for, but even the free one is cool. What Animoto does is you put the pictures and the words, and then you pick the song, and then Animoto does all of the animating for you. So it's kind of like a book trailer, but they make the transitions sync to the music. It's real slick, really easy. It's like making a PowerPoint presentation, and then you hit go, and then they email you back, an hour later when the computer's done working your stuff, and you have this awesome presentation that you can download, you can link, you can HTML it into Facebook or your website. You can really do anything you want with it. And the music choices they have are all Creative Commons. They're not, lame scherzos from old-timey stuff. I mean, there's some rock, there's hip-hop, there's soulful, jazzy, I'm one whiny guy on a piano playing a beautiful song. Lots of choices, so you really can go anywhere you want with it. She's got handouts for planning. She really did a lot of work on this. I recommend doing it because if you can't find a book trailer, it's really simple to make one. And if you don't want to make one, it's really simple to say, hey, Teen Advisory Board or senior English students who have a free period in high school, make a book trailer for this book and this book and this book, and I'll give you 10 points extra credit. It's engaging teens to be their own creative selves, and it's really, it's spectacularly simple. I can't preach enough to the joys of making a book trailer with Animoto or JCut. You could do iMovie if you're super iMovie savvy. I am not one of those people. I have done it, but it's much simpler systems out there. Go forth and do. We're going to take a quick shameless commercial plug. I recently talked with the Eastern Connecticut Young Adult Roundtable. So this is their blog, ecya.wordpress.com. I've been trolling through it. They have a whole bunch of stuff. They post more often than we do, so I love them for that. And that's really the other thing is if you can't think of an idea to talk to your teens, there are librarians all over the place that have figured it out. You can go to Google and just, type in library marketing. You can go through other roundtables from other states and do it like that. There are plenty of places to go to get great ideas. For instance, we don't want that one. We want this one. There we go. YALSA and ALA, they do real great work. So if you want to put posters in your library, posters in your school, 15-point font on a white 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper does not a poster make. Sure, it's good in a pinch, but there are some really creative, smart, artistic people working for great libraries all over the U.S. and the world who are making it better. And they have made it available for you to use. So this was Teen Tech Week in 2010. It's cool, it's colorful. You're not working hard to create, stunning artwork. I mean, if you have that talent and that time, go for it. Just, share it with everyone else. Let's see, can you even see this one? The Future is Yours, Texas Teen Read Week. There's Stuttgart, I don't know where that's from. But I found a whole bunch of great posters when I was doing this presentation. My favorite is a Smackdown at the Library. They've done this, again, I go back to Faye because she's the one I work with the most. They did an Adidas poster where they took out all the athletes' pictures and put teachers' pictures, so it's like, a lacrosse player and a tennis player and a footballer and a soccer and baseball and volleyball, and so all of the faces are teachers, and it's funny and fun, and it's great.
That is cool, yeah. That is very cool. I like that, yeah.
But you can, that's some simple editing. You grab, some shirtless boxers and you pull up, you can probably pull up MS Paint and do a fairly decent job of putting your face on someone else's body. So it's not terribly difficult. There are the joy of the internet is if you don't know how to do something, just go to YouTube and ask it, and it'll show you. That's how I learned how to knit. That's how I learned how to make a star out of folded paper. So really, if you can't figure it out, there's a video for it somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's how I learned how to fix my own washer at my house. Found a video, yep.
And you can search for Google image search library posters, and you'll find a whole smattering of stuff. Just remember to share where you got it if you're going to use it, or leave their original artwork on there so they know you be fair librarians and do that stuff. If you need to leave theirs and throw yours on, do all sorts of whatever you need to do to cite your work. Super important. Another great thing to marketing is that doesn't involve you at all is teen authors doing their book websites. So I don't know if you've read Carter Finally Gets It, but this was a website to promote that book. And it's lovely. It's fun. I think it's Carter, and the story's about Carter, and he's a high school boy, and he has no clue. So this is boob speak.
So here's the thing. Unless you're some special little heartthrob born with mad lane skills, you can use some advice. And that's where we come in. Okay, so when you're talking to a girl you're really into, and you feel yourself starting to brag or be impressive, or you're about to tell her a funny joke about the last time you farted, stop. Ask her a question. It also works during uncomfortable silences, when you're staring at each other for what feels like months without anything to say. Ask her a question, any question, a question about her, and then ask other questions based on her answers. the technical term for this, having a conversation. It will work. Trust us.
That's
Well, 5
great.
or 6. I forget
Yeah.
how many there are, but they're phenomenal. And it doesn't necessarily promote any. I mean, it promotes Carter Finally Gets It. So if you read the book, you understand that part. But it goes more towards that speaking to teens on their level. So if you need to make a boob joke with a group of guys, maybe it's something you need to do. I don't recommend, becoming a teen, but part of that speaking to their level.
Mm-hmm.
Boys are dumb, throw rocks at them is the poster. Girls are tricky. So definitely learn your audience. That's part of the important part. Sorry, coffee break. And then be sure you're speaking to them intelligently, but at a place where they can figure you out.
I do have a question here, Jake.
Oh, spectacular.
Yep, we do have a question, and it's sort of a technical issue question. Can you show, or do you know how to download YouTube videos so that you can then embed them in a PowerPoint?
Yes. I have to, gotta ask Google because I forget the site every time. keepvid.com.
Oh, okay.
So you put in the YouTube URL here and hit download, and it'll do it for you. So we'll just show and tell. Let's pick one. Hunger Games official trailer. Has anyone seen this? Because if you haven't, you need to make it happen.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be the greatest movie ever. So you just copy the URL. I'll pause you, Hunger Games, because I love you, but we don't have time for you. Paste it into there, hit download. And she's thinking. I'm waiting for my internet to love me. Java applets are important. And then there it is. So you can download it as an FLV, an MP4. You can download it as an MP3. Ooh, that's fancy.
That's new, yeah.
Yeah, but there are, there are a whole bunch of different ways you can download it, embed it. You got size, you got, as close to high def as you could, get. And that's what I use to download my YouTube videos. There are others.
And then you just take the link, whichever one you want to put into the PowerPoint. Whichever
so
version is. Yeah.
And it's going to say, hey, do you want to save this? And we'll open it in QuickTime. And you just open it. Wow. But then there's your Hunger Games trailer that you can embed in a Prezi. You can throw it on your website. You can put it on a flash drive and take it with you. If you're a public librarian going into a school that doesn't have access to all the wonder of YouTube.
Oh, yeah, definitely important.
But then there it is for me to view.
The questioner says, thanks, that is so awesome, in all caps. It is, yes.
I can't. I gotta stop because it's gonna be the greatest movie ever. Goodness.
Cool.
Let's see here. I can show you other things. I just have to think about what they are. There's this great article, and again, you can read it, but it's talking about what MTV does and how they do it right, and what the MTV president said. That, I mean, really, these bullet points bring home the point: is teens today are more adept at cutting and pasting their style, identity, and ideals with past and present punk and prep. The technological divide will only widen. The more tech-savvy teens become combined with a complete lack of savvy amongst the adults will make it harder for us to tune into them. So if you need to take an hour out of your workday to wander around through reality TV, I mean, what happened on the Jersey Shore last night? Maybe Thursday evenings is your day to jump onto the CW and catch up on the Vampire Diaries and the Secret Circle and, Gossip Girl, and figure out what are teens watching that I can be watching and talking to them about. And I will just mention that those 3 TV shows are also based on books.
That's right.
That's a great way to convince kids to read. Hey, do you watch Gossip Girl? You should probably, read the books first.
They may or may not even know that themselves, too, right?
And that's the best part.
Yeah.
Something I can't show because I don't have an example of it on my computer, so I can't show it to you. But it was another thing that the high school English teachers and Faye did, and it was they took a popsicle stick, and then they gave each of the English teachers 5 pieces of paper that were colorful, and it said, "I recommend this book," in big letters at the top, and then there were lines for why. And so what one of the English teachers did was made one, and it was, then you just stick the popsicle stick into the book, and then, it usually checks out because kids are like, oh, my teacher recommends this. So there was a paperback novelization of My So-Called Life, and one of the English teachers just put in big black dark letters, teen angst, and then just stuck it in. And what's nice is you can find 700 books with teen angst in it in a high school library or a young adult collection. So that's a great way to expose your students and your young adult patrons to books that you think they should be reading. Recommend them. Don't just say, oh, I think this book was good, but put a sign up. Make a display section that says, librarians say these books are awesome, why haven't you read them yet? Challenge them, that's always fun. The teens, at least in my experience, teens love to hate a challenge. So if you ask them why they haven't done something yet and say, well, I've done it and I'm twice your age, then they'll get all huffy and try to outperform you. And again, that just goes back to knowing your market. Don't pick a fight with a kid who's going to burn your library to the ground. But there are a whole bunch of nice ways you can trick kids into doing things that are good for them. The fun reverse psychology stuff. And it's a great trial and error. I mean, now not every approach is going to work with every student or teen patron, but it doesn't. I mean, give it a go every time. Don't just watch them come in and walk over to your teen section. Come out from behind the desk or your office and say, hey, what do you guys want to read? What are you reading? What I do as the collection development guy at my library is I will walk up to them as they're reading in the teen area and say, hi, I'm Jake. I buy books here. What do you want to read? And maybe you can do that, or you get to have an input into what your library collection looks like. Or even if you don't, it doesn't hurt to ask those questions anyway, and then you can work that into your collection development, if not in the short term, then over the long term. We're buying way more graphic novels because 9 times out of 10 they say, hey, what are you looking for? Oh, I'm looking for some superhero stuff. And you're like, oh, well, I guess we have a Batman from 1960 we could check out. He goes, no, the new stuff. So we got all the fancy Green Lantern and Flash and sweet, sweet, nerdy love that is graphic novels. But really what it comes down to as far as marketing, having that conversation and then being where they are. So goes back to, do you have a Facebook page for your library or your young adult roundtable or your teen advisory board or your whatever? Sometimes students think they're too cool to be friends with you on Facebook, and that happens. But that doesn't mean they won't surf through your page if it's present on, somewhere in their lives. So they know you exist. They may not be a friend of yours and like you or, post on your Facebook wall, but every little thing that happens. Woo, we went up one.
No, you get one. Since we started, it's gone up one, yes.
Go team, go. Mm-hmm. But it's a great way for you to put out your message. So the art page, Hunger Games, NCompass Live, because the art's awesome. Go the art. There's a tablet versus e-reader from Best Buy. That was a great video, and it's 2 minutes long, and it breaks down what an e-reader does, what a tablet does, and why you should probably own both of them because they're both spectacular. The pictures, videos, you can tailor it to books, which is always great.
And what's nice about Facebook, too, is that over on the right-hand side, we've got the View Insights. You won't see much on yours right now because you don't have very much, but even if they're not friending you, you will see statistics on views of your page, of your Facebook page, and that will at least let you know we may not have all these teens officially friended us, but somebody's looking at our stuff. So you do have the statistics right built in there into Facebook, yeah.
Well, that's fancy. I did not know that. Another one, I'm not sure if tweens and teens do Twitter or not. I noticed that it's popular with the what? Oh. Gosh, I hope that's the right sign in. But Twitter is another great, 144 characters. And then what we do with our Twitter feed is we just follow Harper Teen and Alan Hopkins. We are following people that teens and tweens would be interested in following. So even if you're not putting up original content, if they cruise through you, they can find all the things that are fit to be tied with those. And then again, teens are on their cell phones, they're on their laptops, their iPads, the whole shebang. And it's good. It's easy for them to access that stuff. It's easy for them to do that anonymously. They can find their next great, Ellen Hopkins YA book, and no one has to know. It's like the best kept secret for teens in the world. Goodness. Any questions? I guess I can keep talking about cool things. Another great place for ideas is the YALSA listserv. I don't remember how to access it. I did it when I got my fancy new email address from work and promptly forgot how to do anything. But when I use it, I call it the big giant brain because it emails most young adult librarians, and there are authors on there. Alex Flynn is on this one. They talk about teen issues. They share poster ideas. There's a great librarian in Colorado, I want to say. She makes the best posters, and then she puts them on her personal downloading website, so you can get them. It's right before Halloween. She had this great zombie poster. So it's, do you love zombie books? These are zombie books, but it was put together kind of fancy and smart and sexy and not.
So she's sharing her art that she's created and saying anyone who wants to go ahead and use this too.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
You can say, I'm looking for a book list about, and you can get as weird as like books where the mom died, and you'll have librarians going, oh, this one was great, oh, this one was great, and then you'll have librarians say, oh my gosh, I love that you said that one, I totally was going to say that first, but you beat me to it. And so you have, basically these people who have been in a young adult, they're acting like 10th graders, which is great because they love the material, but they're sharing, and they're all wicked smart, and they're all totally willing to answer questions. They get the email, they send replies, they come. I mean, if you got to dedicate some time. I'm about 1,000 emails behind, because they come every day, and you gotta check them every day. But that's a great place to grab ideas or ask for help, or just see what other libraries are doing. A lot of libraries write success stories and put them on there. This idea worked. This is what we did. This is what went wrong. This is how you can do it better next time. And so you kind of get that test run of marketing and programming and communicating and interacting with your teen and tween patrons and students without having to fall flat on your face.
See, it says it has an archive over there too. So if you don't keep up on it, and you have something in particular you wanted to know, if someone was talking about, you can search it. Search that. Well, I suppose you'd have to be logged in or something to your.
Yes, I probably would have to. But there's a ALA mailing lists. They have them for everything.
Oh yeah.
PLA, ACRL, YALSA. All over the place. I mean, there's ones for super smart tech services people. But yeah, it's great and fantastic and lovely. They're my favorite because really, if you have a question, you ask them, and someone will know, or someone will say, "Oh, this is what you could try." Any other questions, Krista? I'm I hope someone has questions, because that's
does anybody have any questions for Jake? Anything you want to know something about, something he mentioned, or something he hasn't mentioned that you were hoping he would talk about? You can type into your questions section of your GoToWebinar interface. Let's see. So I don't know. Did you talk much about teen advisory committees? Is that something that getting them involved? That
is a huge advantage.
Yeah, I'm always impressed when libraries have done that. It seemed to be more uncommon in the past, but it seems to be being a lot more the usual, that they're just not just doing it for, like you were saying, talking to them and asking them what they want, but having them be totally involved in what you do at the library and what you buy for them and the programs you set up for them.
Exactly. And they're your best mouthpiece. I mean, you have a dedicated group of young adults that are on board with what you do. And then they're your best advocates for their friends and their frenemies and their schoolmates and their strange cousins, all those people that they interact with. They can go and be part of that great marketing arm of your library. Is, hey, this is something we're doing. You should bring your friends. You should talk about how cool it is, and they'll agree because more than likely it was their idea. I mean, the great thing about teen advisory boards is that they are. It's a place for them to throw out ideas in the library and say, yes, I want to support this endeavor. How can we help you do this program? How can we help you do this, that, or what have you? But they're fairly easy. The library I'm at already has a well-established teen advisory board. So I don't know the links at which you would have to set one up. I mean, that's a great YALSA BK question. I mean, you send it off to the great brain. Advisory board. What do I do?
It's similar to what you were saying earlier about knowing your audience too. You know who your regulars are, and tap them. Say, hey, you come in here every other week. What do you want to get more involved? And see if they are if they are a participating type person.
Yes, that's.
We do have a couple of questions that have come in.
Yes.
While we've been talking, yep.
Wonderful.
Yeah, first person says they're rural and internet is not readily available for their kids. Any other low-tech ideas that they can steal from you?
Low-tech ideas, yes. It goes back to, and of course I closed it, because the posters that are available from other places, book displays, going into this, if you're a public librarian, getting that into the school library, is a great low-tech way. Working with the school librarian or the public librarian to cross-promote your stuff, hang posters, hang signs. My favorite low-tech one is and it's the idiot-proof one, is that some, like, making the stick with the I recommend this book because it's filled with teen angst. That's a great one. Other things, in-house competitions, like get 2 groups of teens to do a project. That's not really marketing, that's how you get things done. One of my favorite things that we want to do is we're withdrawing a bunch of books, and so we want to make this gigantic book domino thing throughout the library. And then so part of it is thinking of what kind of programs you can do outside of the technology sphere, and then since we're going low tech, it's all about your presence, and it's really about what you can bring to the interaction with the teenagers. If you need to dress different, take your hair out of your butt.
Be more. No, that's true. Be more approachable to them. Yes.
Exactly.
We had that issue. I worked in a university library years ago, and one of our librarians wore a 3-piece suit to the reference desk every day. He didn't get a lot of students coming up to talk to him. No.
Yeah. It doesn't mean you have to, slum in baggy pants and a sweatshirt, but sometimes what you wear can affect what a teenager thinks of you or thinks about asking you. Another great marketing thing is putting it big. I'm thinking of my library. We have a whole front side is just windows, and so one of these days I'm just going to paint a gigantic mural about our teen section, because our teen section is right by one of the windows with chairs and benches and a whole bunch of stuff. And so what I want to do is just put a big sign that says "Teen books live right here." It's making it huge. But really, the best part of marketing when you're going low tech is it's all about you. I know that can be hard for some, and it can be intimidating because I'm a young 26, and even I think that teens are like aliens now. Like, I used to think I understood them, but they're so different. And I know that can only get more difficult as you get further and further away from 15. So maybe that means you gotta watch 6 hours of Gossip Girl and find out why it's okay to wear leggings but not okay to wear jeggings.
Yes.
Okay. Why pajama jeans are never appropriate.
I think that goes for any age, but anyhow.
Probably true.
Okay, we do have some other questions that have come in.
Okay.
If you want to go on. Any ideas about other social networks that the teens may use? We talked about Twitter, maybe, and Facebook. Do they seem to be interested? Specifically, they asked about Google Plus. Are they doing anything on there, do you think?
I
haven't seen much.
I cannot say. I'm wary to think that most other social networks are ever going to take off because Facebook is already so well entrenched in most of their lives.
Yeah.
I love Google Plus. I'm on it. I think it's great. I heart Google. But I think if you make it and then you can convince your teens that this is where you're going to be and this is where they can access your information. I know for some it's a matter of access. Google you can get to on a school network, but you can't get to Facebook because you don't. It's on Facebook. So if you pick whatever social, there's other social networks besides. I'm trying to think of the one that teachers use that I can never remember its name. It's something awkward. But it comes down to if you tell them where you're going to be and then get them to buy into Google Plus or to MySpace or whatever it is, I haven't seen a lot.
That's also relatively new yet, and I think people in general are still just exploring it, trying to figure out what it's going to be, what it's all about. Yeah, I think I was just wondering, maybe there have been created special, so to speak, social network pages, sites for children, like younger children out there, that sometimes those of us who don't have kids or don't deal with them a lot, and I'm talking like toddlers, younger than teens, that it's supposed to be a safer place to them, and just didn't know if there may be a similar type thing that had been created for the teens, but I guess not. They jump right into this, the Facebook. Maybe MySpace. MySpace has become a lot more for music groups and things like that. So if you're interested in a certain group, that may be a reason they may be popping over there. But yeah. Okay.
And honestly, it's not. I'm a two social network kind of guy. So when I got Google Plus, I gave up MySpace.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all of them.
And Twitter is something I think about, every 6 days. So it's, and the other thing is, teens can juggle 6 social networks at once, and I know it's harder for me, and it's harder for other adults. So that's why I think if you just pick one and convince your young adults that this is where you're going to be posting your information and this is where they should follow you, then I think you can see results.
And that would be part of your marketing and promotion. You put on all of your stuff, here's an event we're doing, and by the way, follow us on Facebook. That kind of thing.
Another great thing, using QR codes, because there's this great survey that went out a couple weeks ago that said, I think 45% of everyone under the age of 25 has a smartphone now. So that's a huge chunk of your population. Verizon has the iPhone, so it's available and you can use your iPhone in BFE, and you can use your iPhone in the middle of Chicago, and it all works just the same. So there's a great QR. If you just Google QR codes, you can create them for free.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
And you can make all kinds. You can link websites. You can do one for it'll add straight to your phone's contacts. You can do it for events. I make my events on Facebook for anything I do, and then I make a QR code that links to it. So then I post that on the bottom of my posters. So then it's a great reminder, because then it pulls right up to the event. They can say they're attending, and then Facebook sends them the reminders, and I don't have to.
Nice.
So.
Another question we have, aside from going to the public school, how do you get them interested in books at the library, like if they're already in there? I know you mentioned some things. Is there anything else?
Display. Part of my job is marketing the collection, and I find that once a book gets off the new shelf and goes into the stacks, it's lost. Unless you're looking for it specifically on the catalog, it's not friendly browsable. And then when you walk into a Barnes & Noble, you can see they've got books covers out, and really steal your ideas from retail, from corporate what's-its. If you need to.
Don't just display the new ones. Also pull out old ones. Go back 10, 15 years and mix them up. And they may not even know.
And if that means that you need to weed parts of your collection so that there's space on your shelves, that's something you have to tread lightly and think about that. But that's something that we've been working on, is taking down the size of our collection so we can better display and better market what we do have, so it circulates more. Faye at the high school has weeded, I want to say, probably 40% of her nonfiction, because it's all on a wall, and so that allows her to face out the newer and some of the more interesting books, and her circulation has gone up by double in 2 years.
Wow.
Because she's removed stuff that's sitting there, not getting checked out, hiding all of the good stuff. And so it's one of those things where you got to think a little intentionally. And I know weeding is a hard job for everyone. I sometimes do it a little too joyously. I didn't build the collection I'm working with, but that's definitely part of it. Is teens are current. Sometimes they'll. I mean, I love Lois Duncan as much as the next person, but I know you can only get Lois Duncan books in paperback, and you can only get them used anymore, and so they look sad to begin with. And teens don't like to look at ratty old paperbacks. They would much rather just not read at all if it's going to look gross, because if you're going to read in public, you got to look cool doing it. So that's what I've observed anyway, as an old man. It's looking at what your collection looks like, maybe like reordering. Has anyone ever seen the Sense and Sensibility and Jane Austen, all of Jane Austen's old books, and some of the Bronte sisters, but they redid them with like the Twilighty covers, so it's like black background.
Oh,
Sense and Sensibility. You're like, that has nothing to do with anything, but you know what? Some 16-year-olds will be like, oh my gosh, it looks like Twilight's cover, and then they're going to read it, and they're going to love it because, you know, the Brontes and Austen did a great job with their characters and all that good stuff, but, you know, no one wants to see a Sense and Sensibility. No one wants, not no one, I shouldn't speak in general.
Won't necessarily catch their attention if it's the older traditional cover. Yeah, I know. And hey, we do it too. I know I do it. I'm scanning through a bookshelf somewhere, and something will catch my eye, and something else won't. Yeah. And I don't know what's inside the book, but sometimes the cover has, you know, doomed it to not being read by me. Any other questions anybody has, feel free to type them in, or if you want me to unmute your microphone, I can do that too. We do have one suggestion from someone. Someone mentioned a group called, I don't know if this is pronouncing it right, PubYac, P-U-B-Y-A-C, and I looked it up. It's just pubyc.org. It's a internet discussion list about children and young adult services in public libraries. And it's
cool.
Hosted by the Center for Children's Books at the University of Illinois. So, yep, that's the page. So they have a lot of good resources there. They, this person suggested that, another thing, just like what you're talking about, the YART and the ELSA mailing list, another place to get together with other people who are doing the same thing you are.
Speaking of YART things, I will shameless plug again. We do a meeting every fall and every spring. The spring meeting is going to be in Kearney this year. We haven't picked a firm date yet, but it's we're going to be talking with librarians about getting ready for summer reading, and then we always have one in mid-September, and it's going to be back on the eastern end of Nebraska. We've been trying to go back and forth so we can get everyone involved.
Oh yeah.
We're going to work on streaming that on the interwebs too. So that if you can't make it. But in the September one, we try to do something to gear more towards school librarians getting ready for the school year, because kids are back in August. And then, you know, they get that 2 weeks of, oh, everyone's back, it's going to be crazy. And then they have time to come and talk. Last September, the September we just had, we talked about intellectual freedom, banned book week, and how a school and a public library can partner to get the most out of both collections, so you're not necessarily doubling up on things that aren't needed twice, and maximizing the amount of things that each library is purchasing. So there's great discussions that we have, prizes, donuts, coffee in the morning, loads and loads of fun. So that's a shameless plug. If you keep your eye on the YART Facebook page, we have a YART blog. We have the YART Twitter, all those things. When that gets figured out, we will be putting that up. So cruise around through. Be our friend on Facebook. Shameless plug. Woo! Up even more. Holy cow.
The person who told us about the PubYac group says it has an international following, which can get interesting. It's really fantastic for addressing the specific concerns of public youth librarians.
Okay.
that's good because you also would be mainly with ALA would be more U.S. based, but that'd be very interesting. Yeah, to see what people in other countries, public young adult children's librarians are doing in other countries, definitely. And here's social networking at work right now.
It's like everyone's supposed to watch me type, so I can't do it.
No problem.
Ta-da.
Cool.
But I guess to wrap up, when you're marketing to young adults, teens, tweens, whatever you want to call them, and it can be different. I mean, sometimes a tween loves to be called a tween. Sometimes a tween hates that term. I mean, Hannah Montana coined it, and it's, some of them take that with a badge of honor, and some of them, you say, this is my tween advisory board, they'll look at you like you're dead to them. But really what it comes down to when marketing to that youthful set is to not just present your materials, but present yourself. And then be creative with how you present things, whether it be on an internet sphere or whether it be, pen and paper and poster and ink. They're plugged in and they are super creative. So if you can use them to your advantage, you should definitely do it. But and the great thing is if you get them tuned into libraries at their age, they're more likely to support you when they're taxpayers. So I mean that's always the thing is if you can convince a 15-year-old to love their public library, for forever and ever and ever. They'll bring their kids there. They will support your bond issues, your rebuilding projects, your book drives, all that stuff. If you can get them when they're young, then they'll love you forever because that's the great thing about it.
It's not just about them as teens. It's about the future of their future and the library's future. Absolutely.
Exactly. So work hard now because then it's less work later when you want to, put in that new teen edition in 10 years because all those 15-somethings are going to be 25-somethings working and paying taxes and going, oh, yeah, I love that library. I could totally be okay with its own teen room kind of thing.
Awesome. Well, it doesn't look like any other last-minute urgent questions have come in, but that's okay. We're good. Thanks, everyone, for your questions, and thanks, Jan, for that tip about the Pub Yak group. I'm sure everyone will be looking at that now. If you guys do have questions about this, you know where to track down Jake or his cohorts here, the YART web Facebook page, or you can just look him up there too. He's got his own. And you can ask him more questions. This session was recorded. Oh, we're getting lots of thanks. Thank you. Great presentation. It's been fun. Comments coming through to you. The session has been recorded, and the recording should be ready this afternoon. So if you want to watch it all over again, you can. Or if you know of some colleagues who are unable to make it this morning, that is exactly what it's for. We know lots of people can't make it with us here on Wednesday mornings. That's why we do all these recordings. People can watch it whenever is convenient for them. I am going to steal back control from you now, Jake.
Well, thank you very much, Krista.
And show my... There we go. So once again, thank you for joining us. Thank you so much, Jake. That was very cool. Lots of good information. I don't do a lot with teens myself, working here at the Library Commission, of course, but it's really fun to find out what you guys are doing out there and to learn more about it. So thank you
yes.
for sharing that with us.
Thanks for listening all. Appreciate it. Even you far away non-Nebraska folks.
Everybody has teens in their town they need to work with.
Exactly.
And so I hope you will join us. So that will wrap it up for today. And I hope you'll join us next week when it is our monthly Tech Talk with Michael Sowers, who is the Technology Innovation Librarian here at the Nebraska Library Commission. And his topic for next week is going to be interviewing Lauren Smedley, who's from the Fayetteville Free Library in New York, about their Fab Lab they've created, a place where they've got 3D printers, machines, things that people can come in and actually create stuff themselves. So very interesting topic. Hopefully you'll join us for that next week, or for any of our upcoming sessions that we do have on our calendar. So thank you very much for attending, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.